Um, the three, I think the three's got to be like your best shooter. It's got to be your best shooter because
Really?
I feel like the two is going to be one of those players that's also handling the ball in the backcourt with you. So a lot of times that means your three is going to be the one that's already up the floor. The already is going to be coming off screens, going to be doing, all this extra stuff because I don't know, like me, I'm like, all right, my two needs to be a great ball handler too. It needs to be
Hmm.
somebody that's interchangeable that can set up the offense as well. And I want my three to be my best shooter. That's me. So that with obviously with that, like being a great shooter doesn't mean that's all you do. Especially at in the Power Five level, you got to be able to do many other things. But I think that you have to have two great things for the threes. Obviously, you got to be a great shooter, and I'm talking like you got to be a great out of rhythm shooter. 1 pound, take it to the side shot, come off balls or come off screens, whether it's staggers, pin downs, different angles, like literally like Klay Thompson does, different types of shots all the time.
Hmm.
Um, you got to have a great one dribble pull up because a lot of times you're gonna be getting into that. And then my other thing is just a great defender. You gotta be a great defender because a lot of times these shooters buy into the fact of like they're offensive players, and like you gotta be a defender. So I think that recruiting a shooter, like you really got to make sure they're a good defender too, because you don't want to get caught up in how great they are offensively, and then they get to your school and then they're just not great defensively. Like they don't have IQ, they don't have quick lateral speed. They don't know how to wall up, they don't know how to be strong, keep a good position, stay solid, discipline, closeouts. Um, you just want them to be the most disciplined defender that can stay in
Hmm.
front of someone no matter who they switch on to and that can still have enough conditioning to run down the other end, go this way, and then come through an elevator, boom, shot and hit it and not airball it because they're not tired. You know what I mean? So they
Yeah.
got to be one of the best conditioned players. They got to be one of the best shooters, and they got to be just a very solid on ball defender.
Mm. So basically, you want your three to be a Klay Thompson 3 and D with a little more ball handling.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great, man. Sign me up for the next one you find. No,
Man, I'm
I
gonna try
will
to train
say
one
we
for you.
have a player that does exactly all that, Aaliyah Nah. She's great at
Yeah, I love her, bro. Like
yeah.
her game is nice. I like her.
She's amazing. So that's literally who I was just describing. I'm like, that's the best three I've ever seen.
Oh man. Okay. You mentioned this. You was about to mention this with the four.
Mhm.
What are the shooting percentages looking like? What is guaranteed these shooting percentages for us? We'll look at you for sure. These percentages ranges okay, and these don't even. I don't even know why you're looking at Alabama. Like, don't even try it. Like, what are those percentages looking
Yeah,
like?
I'm not super big on like stats, but when I am like recruiting a person that I want to be shooting the ball a lot, I would say like in high school, you need to be shooting anywhere from 40 to 45% if you're shooting a lot of threes. Obviously, if you're only getting up two threes a game, then it's going to be a little different. But like if you're, high volume shooter from the three, I'm thinking like 40 to 45%. So that way I know when you come into school, like come into college, like you're walking on campus with at least a 35% from three shooting the ball. You know what I'm saying? You're not even in college shape yet. You're not even college strength yet because, you're going to probably put on 10 pounds of muscle in your first summer here or in
Hmm.
college in general. So I'm looking at that. You're also going to lose, you know, a little bit of fat or whatever it might be, and you're just going to be more in shape. So I'm not worried about that because you got to take in the fact of like, okay, high school, AU, this player is probably playing the whole game. They're probably playing 3, 4 games a week. You got to take in all that type of stuff with it. So that's why sometimes I don't always rely on stats, but it is a good indicator. It is a good
Hmm.
indicator. So that 40 to 45% sweet spot for me.
Do you have a similar thing for free throws, or you just kind of take it out of here?
It I haven't, but I'm glad you said that because I'm about to start like really looking at free throw percentage because I think that it is huge, man, because it really does win or lose you games. Personally, I think you should be at least if you're shooting a good amount of free throws. I mean, you should be at least shooting 80%, like at
Mm,
least. Um, because if you're missing free throws, it's just a lack of focus. It ain't because you can't shoot the ball. It's literally all mental. So
yeah.
uh, yeah. So I mean that kind of shows you too. Like you go look at these stats at the free throw line, you can tell if a player's like always locked in, maybe, or can they can they can they perform under pressure because they're sitting there for 6 seconds before they shoot and they're thinking about it. Can they perform and hit shots while they're thinking about it, while they're under pressure? Uh, Lets you know if they're clutch sometimes, in
Hmm.
certain games. So I think free throws, they say a lot that people don't really think about. When you sit there and like just, you know, break it down, it speaks volumes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the free throws is like if you look at it, it's black and white of telling of what a player is.
Mm-hmm.
But when you watch the film with it, it gives more color to it. So
Yeah.
like you said, if she's shooting 80%, right? And you look at it, it's like, oh, she's shooting these under pressure. Like she
Yeah.
thrives like first through third quarter, all right, cool. That
Mm-hmm.
fourth quarter when it's pressure and it's been a tight game the whole time and it's been technical fouls and the game was heated going back and forth. She played the entire game and she had an off night field goal percentage wise, but she still knocked it down free throws.
Yeah.
And she struggled that entire game, but she made it up for it with the free throws. Like all these little things that add more context around it is like, oh, she can really shoot. Like she's locked in mentally at another level. So I think free throws are like that hidden stat that for like you said, for a 3 or 4 shooter, you
Yeah.
can tell a lot by them through that.
And I'll say this too. If you're a kid that's not getting a lot of shots in the game and you got a lot of colleges sitting there on the sideline watching you, go attack the rim, get fouled, and go to the free throw line. Because a lot of times, like I sit there and I watch the form on the free throw to let me know. Like if I'm there watching that kid and I've heard about him, I ain't seen him before, and I'm like, I want to see you, but you ain't doing nothing. Like you're not getting your shots. Get to the free throw line and show me that you can obviously attack the rim and get to the line. But like now,
Hmm.
I get to watch your form. I get to see your approach to the line, see your form, and then maybe I'll stay another 2 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just dipping and saying I'll catch you
Yeah,
next game because I want to go see another game. So like that's if it's not going for you, get to the line.
I try to tell players like, especially when we start really working on this shot for real,
Mm-hmm.
like you gotta have a decent form. I ain't saying you gotta be like Clay and have it picture perfect and the most ideal, but you have to have like certain foundational mechanics because if you get around real hoopers, we can tell. Like even if you missed
Right.
everything that night, we like they can still shoot. Like
Yeah, yeah,
shooter,
yeah, for
you
sure.
missed everything, but we know.
Yeah, it's
Um,
obviously too your confidence. Like when you're stepping up to the
yeah.
line, like you can tell when somebody looks rattled. You tell when
Hmm.
somebody steps up with confidence. So tell a lot about your character too.
Yeah. Let's go a little bit deeper in that free throw. Like what are other things that you see with the free throw shooter that okay, she's about this like she's her.
Like say that again. So like that, are you saying it helps me figure it
Yeah, that
out?
helps. Yeah.
So like if you're not, so a lot of times players will get up to the free throw line and sit there, like they'll just stand there waiting for the ball, and there's still subs coming in and stuff like that, and they're just standing there. So automatically, I'm like, all right, this person like they're they're ready to shoot the free throw and get off the line because they're the focus right now. So
Hmm.
if I see a player like just standing back, walking back, just taking their time, real swaggy with it, chill, like just don't go up there and just hug the free throw line and sit there and wait because you have no rhythm. So I want you to be able to walk up to the free throw line, catching the ball, then get into your form, get into your ritual, your routine, or whatever. So a lot of times players are already standing up there. Um, and then there's the big thing with me is like your shot, like so basically people they don't know where to stand on the free throw line, and they do something different every time. They'll step up the free throw line. They'll put their right foot on the nail, right? If they're right-handed, right foot on the nail. The second shot, their left foot's on the nail, or they're not doing the same routine or the same approach. And I'm like it's got to be the same thing every time. A lot of players don't understand. Like, a lot of people will say, just put your right foot on the nail, on the very middle, and that will line you up with your shot. But that's not true. It's literally your shot path. Wherever your shot path is, that's where you need to be. So if you're Klay Thompson, and I think he comes up through the middle, right? He kind of comes through the middle. So his right foot don't need to be on the nail, because then that means his shot pass to the left of the goal. So he needs to literally get in the middle, like split the nail. Now his shot pass coming up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like these things haven't been broken down to players and stuff. So I think, and that's something so easy, like just to have the same approach every single time. But again, a lot of these players don't know that. So those are things I look for, man. Just like a lot of these kids ice themselves at the line whenever it's literally in their control. They're icing themselves.
Yeah, I kind of geek out about that shot path thing, because I tell my players that, like, I had a girl I was training, and we just started to really get to the free throws. And she was trying to figure out what is her shot, what is her feel. And so first I'm like, just shoot the ball. Like, how do you shoot?
Yeah.
And I think she shot more to the middle, like you said. So I was like, okay, we're going to split the nail. So nail splits you in the middle. Yep. So now the ball should go straight up into the goal. Everything should just be going forward. I don't want you like Katie wiggling around and it's making a circle. Like, everything should be
motion.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm glad you said that, because I do kind of nerd out about that little small little detail.
Man,
about
I'm
that.
the same way. Like, literally, I'll break down a player's whole routine, and I'll make, even from like their heel taps. Some of them, they'll dribble and their heels will come up right, left, right, left, right, left. They'll do it 6 times. I'm like, literally, I'll write that down. I'll go up to them and be like, look, your heels lift every single time you take a bounce. I was like, I want you doing that every single time, like literally from heels to bouncing, and then one other thing is, a lot of times on the second shot, every player wants to shoot it. And then right when they release, they're trying to get back on defense. So like they fall back and they don't stay up on their toes or fall forward. You can fall forward a little bit or go straight up, but never back. And so a lot of times I see that because these players want to get back on defense. They don't want to get beat. A lot of people teach their team to, like, all right, get the rebound, get it out quick, get it up the floor, try to beat the defense back. So a lot of players do that. So I kind of, sometimes I'll teach them. I'm like, all right, let's go through, and I want you to get on defense. So hold it, and basically I'll have somebody ready to get an outlet pass, and I'm going to have the free throw shooter shoot the shot, stay in it, don't fall back, and show them they have enough time to see it through, get back, and get the ball stopped. You know what I mean? So it's like, sometimes you just got to show a player that, like, it's possible. Like, you can stay in your shot the whole time, hold your follow through, hold the feet, don't fall back on your heels, and you still get back on defense. Like, so it's like, kids are just anxious, for the next play. It's like, man, focus on the shot that you're shooting now, and then focus on what's next.
That goes in line for me personally with the whole follow your shot thing. I'm not a fan of saying that, because, like, if you're a shooter, you have a good feel for your shot.
Yeah.
So when it's a miss or a make, or when it's 50-50. And so if you're preaching to follow your shot every time, that means you don't have faith in your shot.
Right.
And that means you shouldn't be shooting the ball. So the only time you really see an elite like a Clay or a Sabrina like follow their shot, they know it's off, and it's like, man, let me please hurry up and make my mistake and fix it up. But so I don't like the whole follow your shot thing.
Yeah, no, especially on free throws. The only rebound you getting is if it hits the back of the rim and flies right back to you, because it's gonna be hard to fight through 6 people, or is it 5? Yep. Maybe 5 people. I don't know. However many people line up on the free throw line. There's a lot of people, and you got to wait till it hits the rim. So, yeah,
it's
just shot, so you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, exactly. Just make the shot. Like, just make the shot, and if you know you're missing it, all right, now follow it. Besides that, man, like, just go get a bucket. Like, you don't have to be extra. So
exactly.
All right, we just nerded out for a minute.
Yeah, it's cool, man. Free throws are big; they're important.
Do we do the negative part about a 3? Do you do that part yet?
I don't think we did. But to me, it's just like not having the things we talked about. Being undisciplined on defense, not being able to stay in front of a ball handler, just being able to, I think another thing is like if you miss 3 shots in a row, like, are you done shooting for the night? Like, I want to see you shoot that fourth one confidently. So, like, if I
Mm-hmm.
see you get real down because you've missed a couple in a row and you just stop shooting, like you had 4 attempts in the first half and you finished with 4 attempts from the three. You know what I mean? I want to see you like fight through that, fight through the misses. Show me like mentally how strong you really are. Like, can you move on to the next shot? So, and then not being if you can't finish at the rim, I mean, just finish at the rim
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of times they're gonna be flying past you. You're gonna have wide open lane. Can you go up against a big and get a, finish on top of them? So, just a little bit of athleticism there. But yeah,
So could you have a slasher at your three? Like, could you do well with a slash at your three?
oh for sure, you could. You 100% could. I mean, we'll have one next year playing probably the three a little bit, but like, yeah, like I mean, as long as your three can show like they can shoot the three ball and hit it, like you can be a slasher and be the three for sure, especially if you're a good finisher. Because a lot of times, just because you're coming off screens, don't mean it's screens for a three. Like you'd be screening to curl, screening to flare
Mm-hmm.
back, catch, rip. Like there's a lot of different things screens can do. Especially if you're a slasher coming off screens and you're fast and you're athletic and you can wiggle. You got a
Yeah.
lot of wiggle to your game.
Yeah, I just want to get a help to some life to some girls who are like, man, I can't shoot the ball that well. Well, hey, if you can slash and get to the
Mid
rim, you
range,
still
if
got
you
a
if you
chance.
got a good pull up, you gotta have good pull up
Yeah.
now. You can't
Oh yeah.
not be a good 3-point shooter or a good mid range shooter. You gotta have a little something now. But yeah,
Yeah. I think that'll be that. If somebody was Kyrie level finisher,
oof, yeah.
but she didn't have a midi or a three.
Oh shoot, I don't know, man. You pushing it now. You pushing it. They might have to end up being the four for us. If they got all the four
Yeah.
attributes, they could be the four as long as they're not
Okay.
too little.
So if she didn't have the height, she's automatically no, and she's gonna have to look for another school.
I mean, how tall is she? I mean, my thing is like, man, it's fine. Like, it's gonna be hard for anyone that's a 2 or 3 that's like smaller than 5'6", 5'5", but like even 5'7", like if you got those things that we mentioned that a three needs to have, you can even be a 5'7" 3. Like you really could. I mean, you
Mm.
probably gotta have like you gotta be a super dog, like big dog. You
Yeah.
gotta play like you 6'1".
Yeah.
But like I still think it's capable, being that small. And I say that too because I was a smaller guard, so like I vouch for smaller guards. Like if you got that in you, like I think you can play whatever level.
I think you can get away with smaller guards on the girl side more than you can
Oh
guys.
yeah, no, that's a fact, 100%.
Because I've seen too many guys who are like short for guard size, but they
Yep.
can play. Like they're dogs,
Mm,
elite skill. They can whatever you need from a guard, they can get that for you. They're just under 6 foot, so that hurts them.
yeah,
And so on the girl side, it's different. You can make up for it more being a girl rather than being a guy.
yeah, yeah. I think it too is because like on the men's side, you got your point guard, whatever height, but then your 2 and 3 are sometimes 6'3", like sometimes 6'4". On the women's side, it's not like that. So you're not always
Mm-hmm.
going to be going. Very rarely do you see a three on the women's side that's like 6'2" or 6'3".
Mm-hmm.
No, I say like 6'3". Like your bigs are usually about 6'4", 6'5". So I think that's why you can get away with it because you're not going to see every single night a 2 or 3 being 5 inches taller than you.
Yeah.
That's what men,
Yeah.
men they just tall, man. Like they get tall. And I don't think women they don't really grow like that. So you don't see many 6'5" guards walking around that are girls.
Nah, you get one of those. You
They're usually
maybe
posts.
every 10 years.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
usually
you
posts.